Hi, everyone. Welcome to Screw the Stock Market, where we discuss ways of investing outside of the stock market with the goal of taking control of our finances and our lives and our futures. And today we have a really special guest. His name is Mark Podolsky, and he goes by the Land Geek. He has a podcast and a website all dedicated to this really great idea of land flipping. What do you think, Aziz?
I mean, I already signed up for his course, so obviously I'm interested and intrigued. Hopefully, I mean, it sounds too good to be true, but I'm hoping that it's true. I mean, he was enthusiastic enough to kind of semi-convince me, but let's see.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, the big thing is obviously I always thought land was just such a slow process that it was something that and I always thought, I remember this, what's the guy's name?
Grant Cardone.
Yes, thank you. I remember this Grant Cardone clip that he posted on Instagram talking about why he would never buy land because it doesn't cash flow and it's just kind of like a dead investment or something. But after talking to Mark, he's able to do it. And he said he's done it, I think he said 60,000 times.
6,000.
6,000?
Yeah.
A lot of times. He's done it a bunch of times and it's real and it seems to be generating a lot of passive income, which is the ultimate goal. So it's really exciting. I'm going to do it too. We're going to do this. And if you're interested in doing it, sign up with us and, check in, follow up with us. Because the other part that's really exciting about this is that it takes smaller amounts of money than anything that we've discussed in the past. I think a lot of these opportunities he talks about amounts as small as 500 or even just a few $1,000, which are great. I mean, if you want to invest in real estate, it's going to take a lot more than that. If you want to invest in apartment buildings, it's going to take a lot more than that. For our syndications, we usually require a minimum of about $50,000. And so to be able to do something for as little as $500 or $2,000, it's exciting. And you can actually put your money to work. It's a really, really exciting thing. So let's just do it. Let's jump into it. Mark is really a good guest. He's really active and he's got great energy. I think you're going to enjoy the show. And with that, enjoy. All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have you on the show. And
Alex, Aziz, I'm honored. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, what we'll do is, at the beginning of the show, we always do want to give you the chance to kind of make it personal. Tell us a little bit about where you came from, how you got to where you are. And then after that, we'll jump into the land and your specific angle and lesson for us and our audience. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So if we rewind the tape to year 2000, 22 years ago, I was a miserable, micromanaged, 45-minute commute to work and back investment banker, specializing in mergers and acquisitions with private equity groups. And guys, it got so bad for me, I wouldn't get the Sunday blues anticipating Monday coming around. I'd get the Friday blues anticipating the weekend going by really fast and having to be back at work on Monday. So my firm hires this guy and he's telling me that as a side hustle, he's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar at tax deed auctions. He's flipping them online and he's making a 300% return on his investment. So I'm looking at companies all day long. And a great company, has 15% EBITDA margins or free cash flow. Average companies, 10%. I'm looking at companies all day long, less than 10%. So of course I don't believe him. I've got $3,000 saved up for car repairs. I go to New Mexico with him. I do exactly what he tells me to do. I buy 10 half-acre parcels, an average price of $300 each. And I flip them online. They all sell for an average price of $1,200 each. It worked 300%. So I took all that money, I went to another auction, and this is in Arizona where I live. And again, it's 2000, there's no one in the room. I'm buying up lots and acreage for nothing. I sell all that land. I make over $90,000 cash. So I go to my wife. She's pregnant. I said, honey, I'm gonna quit my job, become a full-time land investor. And she's like, absolutely not. So I said, okay. So it took me about 18 months for the land investing income to exceed the investment banking income. And then I quit I've been doing it full time ever since, and I absolutely love it.
That's a
So
cool story.
yeah,
I'll say
part of
that
me is
resonates with me.
that
Yeah.
definitely.
I recently had one of those conversations with my wife about quitting, and thank God she supported me, but it wasn't an easy one. And it wasn't
Yeah.
quite as safe as what you're doing. So good. Aziz, any reactions?
Well, I'm very much intrigued. I'm very much interested, but also part of me, it's like, well, that was 2000. I mean, there's no way I can find land for $300 today. I mean, is that even still possible?
It is. It is still possible. It's tougher, but we've got clients that are buying lots for like $500.
Oh no,
Yeah.
And
that's doable.
how? I mean, where? I mean, is this all like lots like in some abandoned nuclear power plant former facility? I mean, how are they getting?
Aziz, these are beautiful lots. Don't be a land snob, man. Come on. I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly how I do it.
Please, yes.
All right.
Right, I've
So
got pencil and paper down. This is really intriguing right now.
I know Alex is in DC. Where do you live, Aziz?
Say, I literally live just down the street from him.
We should
Okay,
be
so
shooting these together. We should be physically in the same room, but it's easier to just jump on
It's
Zoom.
easier.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. No problem. So I'm gonna assume that you guys both own 5 acres of raw land in Colorado, and you guys owe $200 in back taxes. So you're advertising two important things to me. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to the raw land. You're in DC, the property's in Colorado. And number two, you're distressed financially in some weird way. Because when we don't pay for things, we don't value them in the same way. And you're not paying your property taxes. As a result, the county treasurer keeps sending you guys notices saying, Alex, Aziz, if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to lose this property to a tax deed or a tax lien investor. So all I'm going to do is look at the comparable sales on your 5-acre parcel for the last 12 to 18 months. I'm going to take the lowest comparable sale and divide by 4. And that's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. So let's just use easy math. Let's say that the lowest comparable sale is $10,000. I'm going to send you guys an offer for $2,500. Now you accept it. Why? Because for you, $2,500 is better than nothing. In reality, 3 to 5% of people accept my quote unquote top dollar offer. But now that you've accepted it, I have to go through due diligence or in-depth research. I have to confirm you both still own the property, that back taxes are only $200, that there's been no breaks in the chain of title, there's no liens or encumbrances. So I have this whole big due diligence report that I outsource to my team in the Philippines. They're connected to an American title company. Now, if I was investing $5,000 or more, I wouldn't take any risk. I would just close traditionally through a title company. But we'll assume everything checks out. I send you guys a check for $2,300. I send the county treasurer a check for $200. I now own it free and clear. And now I'm going to sell this property 30 days or less, and I'm going to make it cash flow like a rental home. So, guys, I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who it is?
I want to say the government, but I don't know.
Not the government. It's a good guess.
I really can't think of anybody. Who wants land? It's got to be developers or
the neighbors. I'm going to send out neighbor letters saying, hey, here's your opportunity. Protect your privacy, protect your views, know your neighbor. So oftentimes the neighbors will buy it. Now, if the neighbors pass, I'll go to my buyers list. My buyers list passes. I'll go to a little website you guys may have heard of. It's called Craigslist. It's the 15th most trafficked website in the United States. I'll go to one I know you've heard of. It's called Meta or Facebook, buy-sell groups in the marketplace. And then I'm going to go to the lands. Landmodo.com, landandfarm.com, landsofamerica.com, landflip.com, landhub.com. These are platforms where people buy and sell raw land every day. But the secret is in the pricing. So I'm going to make my price irresistible. So all I'm going to ask for is a $2,500 down payment for someone to control this 5-acre parcel. And then I'll make it a car payment. Let's say $297 a month and 9% interest for the next 84 months. So it's a one-time sale. I'm going to get my capital out on the down payment. I could go 6 to 10 months out. And now I'm getting $297 a month of cash flow every single month for the next 84 months at 9% interest. But Alex, Aziz, no renters, no rehabs, no renovations, no rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this onerous real estate legislation. So then it's a simple game. Can we create enough of these land notes where our passive income exceeds our fixed expenses, and then we're working because we want to, not because we have to?
I'm speechless.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike.
Okay. So that's exciting. That's really exciting because passive income is the dream, right? And like you said, because we want to, because there's things that I'd rather be doing. There's things that first of all, I'll say I love what I'm doing right now and I'm really having fun. So, but to be able to not have to do this all day and not have to worry about food on the table and roof over my head that's the dream, right? So, okay, so there's a bunch of stuff there. Obviously, I think it seems like the big key is to be able to get the property cheap enough that you can sell it quickly. Is that the hardest part of it? What's the hardest part of this whole?
Yeah, I mean,
dynamic?
so in real estate, it doesn't matter if it's land or multifamily or residential homes, whatever it is, we're making our money on the buy, right? So that's absolutely what we're doing. So these people that are selling us the raw land, it'd be like if I made you an offer on everything in your garage right now that you haven't used in years, 25 cents on the dollar, how quickly would you accept that offer? It's like that. They're not using the land. They're paying the property taxes every single year. I'm just catching them at the right time. So it's different in that sense. And then what we're doing then is finding somebody that on the other side of it appreciates the land and likes the asset class. They like the fact that there's nothing to maintain, nothing to protect, nothing that can be destroyed. It's a legacy asset. It lasts forever. And so maybe one day they'll go out and improve it or they'll use it recreationally. But most of my investors, I say, are like legacy investors. Sometimes they're preppers. They're preparing for the worst. They're hoping for the best. Sometimes they're people that don't like people. They just want to go out there and be away from people.
Very interesting. And is there any difference in terms of the type of land that you're buying? Like, does it matter if it's a mountain or desert or forest or?
No, I'm opportunistic. If I can buy it 25, 30 cents a dollar, I'll buy it. Now this market won't work in, as an infill lot in San Francisco or New York City or even DC, right? If you have an infill lot in one of these areas, you're not selling to me 25, 30 cents a dollar. You're going to hire the biggest, baddest land broker in town. You'll sell it for 125 cents a dollar. So we're looking at areas that are an hour to 3 hours from the nearest city, more rural land. And then let's face it, nobody wakes up and thinks to themselves, boy, I'd like some, raw land today in Iowa, unless you live in Iowa. So, we want to be in New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, a little bit in the Northwest, and Florida. Sunshine states, fast growing states, where there's an abundance of inexpensive raw land.
And that was actually one of my questions too. Are there that many deals available to kind of keep this be consistently lucrative? But it sounds like there is.
Well, so that's the thing, is it's a massive market. There's billions of acres of land available in the United States. Only 9% of the United States is developed. So it's massive, and there's a lust for land in this country. So you, me, a million people could be in this niche. We'll all run out of money before we run out of deal flow. And you couldn't think literally of a more boring real estate niche. Like, you're not going to go on HGTV or the DIY network and see flip this land. The before picture is raw land. The after picture is raw land. It's not sexy. So it's just one of those things.
That's exciting. I've learned that boring is actually a really good thing when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
That's very appealing. I feel like I just want to ask you to tell me the whole thing all over again, because it's okay. So we're looking for deals. Then, okay, are you focused only on those in that example that you gave? You told us about the tax. I fell behind on my taxes. Is that the the main kind of flag that you're looking for when you find a deal, or are there other kinds of opportunistic situations where you might be able to find these deals?
So for me, the lowest hanging fruit is somebody that lives out of state and owes back taxes. But once I'm in a strong market and we're doing deals there, I don't care if they're current on their taxes, they owe back taxes, in state, out of state, I'm mailing to them. And just, trying to get them on the right day, almost like a credit card offer.
Yeah.
You get your credit card offers in the mail just about every
All the
day.
time. Yeah.
And one day you're going to need one and it'll be there. So I'm just showing up consistently.
And
So go ahead.
I was gonna say it seems like you would need like a very structured kind of team and system set up to kind of automate this process. Can you kind of walk us through that? Because I feel like that would be the most critical thing about this. Because you obviously are not going to have time to sit there and just look up deals all day, every day. For hours.
No, absolutely. I mean, 90% of this business is automated with software on the front end, inexpensive virtual assistants, and then software on the back end. So basically with the mailings, we use a program called lgpass.com. And it's a phenomenal way of just, when we get a list from the county, we upload that into our software, and then we can drip out, say, 20 a day of our mailings or our offers. And we can kind of control that piece of it. When it comes back, we can have an inexpensive virtual assistant logging in the intake portion of it. So sometimes the intake manager will get somebody who just wants to yell at me. They hate the offer, but sometimes they're confused about the offer and sometimes they want to accept the offer. So the intake manager qualifies them. Is this a deal or not? Puts it into the software. And then once it's a deal, then they hand that off to due diligence. And then the due diligence team, again, based in the Philippines, will handle that piece of it. They'll get us the plat maps, the aerial maps, the satellite maps, images, everything we need, which is going to create our marketing package, which we then hand that off to the marketing team, who's going to be writing our ads, our ad writers. And they will be doing a lot of copying and pasting in the areas that we talked about before, right? So, and then of course the software is going to automate the neighbor letters as well. And so we upload that list, and it's very easy to get through the GIS. And then from there, the acquisition manager is going to be closing the deal. And then after the acquisition manager closes it, and we then go into geekpay.io, which is a set and forget it system of note collection. So we get our down payment, and then we get our monthly note collection handled by the software. It automates the notifications. The whole idea being, right, we don't want to build another job for ourselves. So I can always make more money. I can't get more time. So we want to invest in anything that's going to leverage our time and help us scale this to the next level.
And for the due diligence component, getting all of those documentations and stuff and the pictures, how do you usually facilitate that? Especially since if it's an area that you're in, Iowa or somewhere else where you're not located, is there like a repository?
Yeah, I mean, basically you'll have somebody go on like a Craigslist gig, and for $50, you'll give them the GPS coordinates, and then I have them load on their phone a little app called What 3 Words. So it'll give me their GPS coordinates in 3 words, so I can see are they at the property, and then we'll give them instructions to fill out our property report, shoot video, take pictures. I want to know are the neighbors dumping? Are there any dilapidated cars or homes out there? What are the roads like? How far from the nearest services, nearest Walmart, McDonald's? What's compelling about the property? So they fill all that out for us, and that way I can be doing deals from anywhere in the world with an inexpensive laptop and an internet connection.
You've got a serious enterprise.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So good for you, Mark. That sounds really awesome.
Thank you, Alex.
Now that
that
sounds
really is impressive.
It does. It's legitimately amazing. And what if I want to do it?
So if you want to do it,
yeah, go ahead.
You need to get educated, right? So the best way to learn is by doing. So I'll give you a free course, how to double your money, 30 days or less, and see if this niche even resonates with you. So if you go to the landgeek.com/quick deals, you can get that course for free. Just thelandgeek.com/quick deals, and see if this is something that resonates with you. Again, it's not that sexy, but it's a lot of fun and it scales.
Very interesting. Do so the course, I mean, you've built already a big chunk of the machinery for that. So when I've taken the course, would I have to go out and find my own people in the Philippines and kind of start my own accounts with all these services and everything and just try to recreate your machine?
You could do that. I'd say in the very, very beginning, you want to get enough knowledge. So there's a difference between delegating and abdicating. So when we delegate, we know what we're doing. We can write out a system and a process because we have enough knowledge about the program. Versus abdicating is saying, hey, you go do this. And now it's the blind leading the blind. So the course is going to have you delegating those pieces and really creating the system, the process to do it as well.
And how long does the course take? You said it's more learned by doing. So is it at the end of the course, I've done my first deal? Is that generally
you should double your money in 30 days or less, because the free course is going to just teach you how to buy wholesale and sell retail. So we're eliminating county research. We're eliminating getting a list. We're eliminating scrubbing a list. We're eliminating pricing a list, and we're eliminating sending out offers. So we're just simplifying it. Now we're going to somebody who's already done all that work, and they have marked up the property, and we're buying it wholesale, but they've left us enough meat on the bone so that we can go sell it retail. So we only need to focus on the marketing and the sales piece of that. And then once we have enough confidence, oh, I like doing this, then you can go deeper into the niche, and we have, training and help for that as well.
Does it include like templates in terms of like what some of the things, like you said, you'd fill out the GIS guy would fill out a form in terms of the survey of the land area and things like that, or the mailers that you send out to the different buyers?
Yeah, it is everything you need, from templates to promissory note, purchase sale agreement, land sale contracts, the legal aspect of it, everything you would need to start and run your own land business.
And so some of the activities that you talk about in finding a deal sound like they're very similar to the activities that a typical wholesaler would do, right? Saying, just getting creative, marketing, mailing, cold calling, bandit signs, all that kind of stuff. It sounds like you're really efficient with it though. So is there a big difference between the machinery that's needed to become a wholesaler and this kind of machinery to be able to find these deals?
I really don't know, because I've never wholesaled houses.
Okay.
If a wholesaler is using software, inexpensive virtual assistants, then it's similar.
I mean, we talked to one wholesaler a few weeks ago who said he spends $10,000 a month in some sort of, I don't even know what he spends it on, but maybe it's online advertising or something, just to get leads or
marketing.
Something. I'm sure you can always spend more than what you're spending, but I'm assuming you're not spending.
That doesn't sound fun to me. No.
He said he gets like about 40 plus wholesale deals every year, but he's spending about $10,000 a month on just marketing.
Yeah, no, I don't like that model.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do that either. So.
I mean, look, it might work for him. For me, that seems like a lot of financial insecurity to do it that way, because it's just very competitive to wholesale homes.
It is.
And the market's always changing. The land market doesn't really change that much, and it's very non-competitive.
That's exciting these days.
Yeah. How hard is it to find buyers?
So there's a lust for land in this country. You should be able to sell this property 30 days or less. And if you don't sell it in 30 days or less, then something has to change in your pricing, or maybe your headline's bad. You're not getting enough traction in the marketplace where you're stuck with a piece of land. Like I've done this over 6,000 times now. I've never been stuck with a piece of raw land.
Wow. And did I understand correctly? You're essentially doing seller financing when it's time to sell, right? You are getting them to down payment to essentially get all your money out of the deal, and from that point forward, you're getting the difference in that savings as passive income going forward.
Yeah, exactly. So cash is trash. I don't want the cash. I want the cash flow, just like a rental home. And so this way, I've got that passive income. I don't have to keep hustling. Like our wholesaler that you were talking about before, once he wholesales that house, he's got to keep hustling and now find another house, where my land portfolio just continues to grow until they either default or pay off the note. And then I can just, keep reloading.
Very, very interesting. There was one other detail you mentioned about, like, in certain situations you would close with a title company, but sometimes it seems like normally you don't do that.
Well, no, it just depends on the price of the property. So if you don't close with the title company, you're taking a little bit of risk. There could be a title defect that you miss in your due diligence and you're doing your title search. So if it's an area I know really well, so land's a little bit different than traditional homes, simply because of the price point and the emotional involvement, plus there's not as long a chain of title. So we're talking about an inefficient market. It's not like land's constantly changing hands every few years. So if it's a less expensive deal, $5,000 or less, I have enough confidence I can close with my team directly and save myself the time and the expense of a title company. But if it's $5,000 or more, I don't want. It's worth it to me to just go to bed at night knowing there's title insurance on that property.
Okay, I like that. Go ahead, Aziz.
I was gonna say, how big on average are these plots that you're purchasing?
So
does size matter?
Well, size. I mean, no. I mean, it's not the size that matters. It's, again, can I get the asset 25, 30 cents on the dollar? So I'll buy everything from a 640 acre section and subdivide it to a postage stamp. It's really, can I make my money on the buy, and is there a market for it? So that's really what I want to know. But I would say my average client is probably in the $2,500 range in this market right now.
It reminds me, I saw a little clip of this famous apartment syndicator named Grant Cardone.
I actually had Grant Cardone on my podcast. He's
great.
For
real? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I remember his clip. He's like, I would never buy land because it doesn't cash flow.
But apparently it does.
And you flip that around, and it's
yeah. So I actually hazed him about that because my podcast at that time when I had him on was called The Best Passive Income Model. And so I said, Grant, do I have the best passive income model? He's like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
He's a character. I'm sure
Yeah.
I can see him kind of begrudgingly.
Yeah. And this is before his fund. So he's telling me he's buying these apartment deals cash, and I'm hazing him. I'm like, why on earth would you pay cash for all this stuff?
Yeah.
And so
very cool.
I want to take all the credit for that.
Well, I'm really excited about it, honestly, because I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for the class, and we're gonna double some money, and we're gonna follow up with you and come back and thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We had another. I guess what I like about this is that it's relatively a small scale. For me, with the apartments, one of the things that was a real challenge is because I've been a realtor for the last several years. And every time I get a commission, it might be 10, 15,000 bucks. That's a good welcome bonus of money that I can take and do something with. But I couldn't go and buy a house with it. I couldn't go and buy an apartment building with it. It was just a little bit too small. And one of the things that's been missing for me is something that I could do with a relatively small amount of money to get that machine going. Saving up for years to be able to buy another single family or even worse, apartment building has been a little bit of a challenge for me. And so I really like the idea that you can do this at a smaller scale and still kind of make it happen. That's really exciting for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great gateway drug into multifamily.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I don't know. Do we have any last questions for you? Do you have any last words of wisdom for our audience? How about that?
Okay, so my final words of wisdom is a quote from Zig Ziglar, which is if you'll do for the next 3 to 5 years what other people won't do, you'll be able to do for the rest of your life what other people can't do.
I love it. I've heard that. And sometimes I'm guilty of not doing the things that I need to do. But yeah, man, I think it's really exciting. And that's really what we're all about here, is trying to kind of position ourselves for that future and to bring that future a little bit closer, right? It doesn't have to be so far out for us either. So that's really exciting. And for you, I'll say it's really notable. You said it took you 18 months to beat your salary, which was presumably a pretty high salary too, as a M&E investment banker. It's not like you were
well,
yeah. That's that's another challenge, is like the higher your working salary, the harder that hurdle is to be able to kind of buy your freedom. That's exciting, man. Mark, it's really good to meet you. We really will follow up with you, because I think I'm going to do it. Aziz, you in?
Yeah, I'm definitely in.
All right. We're going to sign up right now.
Look, I told you guys by the time this podcast is over, I'd have you land investors. I've made that promise. So I'm glad that you guys are as excited about it as I am.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Mark. Really a pleasure to meet you. And we're going to be in touch soon. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Aziz. Appreciate it.
Thank you.